Toastmasters. My name is Greg here, and I'm going to be the Toastmaster for this evening's meeting. On my phone, it's 7:31. Actually, when I did like this was 7:30, and it's one of the principles or one of the standards we like to set in Toastmasters is all about timing. Not only timing of speech, but in this case, timing of the meeting. And it's important that we can try and run a meeting within the set time frame of, in our case, 1.5 hours, and part of that is to start on time. So today we started on time. Let's see if we can finish on time. Who here? Everyone here, knows what Toastmasters is about, obviously. Who does anyone actually know literally what Toastmasters means? Like literally, not just that it's a group where we speak and engage each other, etc. Well, literally, what does it mean? Does anyone know what the words mean? Huh? No? Yes, I'm sure.
The master of toasts.
And what is toasts?
Toasts are public speeches.
Yeah, okay.
That's the table.
Yeah, okay, that's sure. I wasn't sure because toast is like it's not maybe a common word that is used, but it's more of it's not a general speech. A toast is something which you would do at a wedding or something where you raise the glasses and make like a congratulatory remark or whatever. So it's a very general. In that sense, it means it's what we do is a lot more wider than that, but it basically it gives the idea of what Toastmasters is all about. You guys, first thing I'd like to do is commend you all on coming today, because obviously you have to compete. The club has to compete with not only your interest to come here, but it's Almaty summer outside, and a lot of people would decide when they're thinking, should I come to Toastmasters today? They'll probably decide that maybe they would prefer to go for a walk in the park, or maybe sit in a cafe somewhere and have a drink, or do whatever, or spend time with their families. It's always conflicting conflicting objectives of what you want to do, and it's only just one of them. So we have to compete with your time and your other interests. So I think that the fact that you've come here today shows me, and it shows I think you should show yourself that you have that you're willing to that you're really interested in this club, and you're interested to make a difference to yourself and your personal goals, etc. And that's what basically Toastmasters is all about. It's about basically taking, improving yourself, and not only improving yourself, but improving yourself to the extent that you can then basically have an impact on other people's lives and communities, etc. So you might come with just the idea that it's all about, it's all for you and what you can get out of it, but you'll find that as other clubs have found throughout the world, basically, that once you start to improve yourself, then you can find that you, even without even knowing, you have a chance to have an impact on other people's lives, and that's one of the great things I think about Toastmasters. I don't think necessarily our club has developed to that extent yet, where we can maybe have that profound impact, but it will get there if we continue to work hard and just to basically come to the meetings and develop as a club and grow. This is coming towards the end of our first season, I think, as an official club, and it's going to take a long time, I think. But we'll get there as long as we keep having the committed people like you guys have in the room today. So I commend you once again for coming. Today's meeting is just a standard meeting. I think most of the faces are familiar. I think. Is there anyone that this is their first meeting, or everybody's been first meeting? Okay, well, welcome. There's 2 or 3, 4. Okay, so there's quite a few new people. That's great. Basically, today's meeting will be a pretty standard meeting. We try and keep our meetings standard in format. It's the content which basically changes and which makes it interesting, etc. And that standard format basically is that we'll have one section of set speeches, which are basically speeches which have been pre-prepared by the person. They've had a chance to work on them at home, etc., and get down what they want to say, and they come here and deliver that speech. And then after that, there's a section of evaluations where there'll be one of the members here will come up and evaluate the speech according to what they thought of it, according to the guidelines that Toastmasters has for the particular speech. And then the second part of the meeting after that is basically what we call table topics. Some people like to think is the more interesting part. Other people might tend to think that it's the more like confronting and scary part. It's where basically there will be a topic which today will be, who's the table toastmaster? Sorry. Yatika will be giving the table topic session, and she'll be presenting some questions and basically choosing people at random, or maybe they volunteer, and that's the part of the meeting where you get up and have a chance to speak for a couple of minutes, and basically impromptu, which means basically without having a chance to prepare, so that's why it's a bit more daunting. Using the word without even knowing the word of days. So that's basically the format of the meeting. Perhaps we have a small group. Sometimes we introduce each other so we know, other times we don't, but we have a small group. So let's maybe just go around the group and quickly just give you a name and and just say hi, and then we'll just so we all get to know each other a little bit better. Maybe we can start with the two other members, like people.
Hello everybody, my name is Bigzotakim. Nice to meet you here.
Fun.
Hello, my name is Nurjan. I'm studying at
Good evening, my name is Milana. Enjoy the meeting.
And you remember? First name.
My name is Marian, and I'm a colleague of Edgar's.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yatika, and I'm a table topic master today, and I welcome you. I welcome you here in our class.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dalit, and I'm available of Icebreaker Speech Today.
I'm Rachel. I'm a student.
Ben Pastores from the Philippines. Nice to meet you.
My name is Ayin.
Hello everybody, my name is Nilash.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alisher. I work as a consultant at auditing firm. Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Azar. I'm Icebreaker today.
Hello everyone, I'm Ben Schiller. I am one of the most loyalty membership of the group.
Hello everyone, my name is Aslan. This is my second time. Everyone, sorry. I'm just nervous a little bit. I'm an ice speaker today. My name is Judith.
My name is Almaty. I'm for Bank Walker. My first name.
Hello, my name is Sergey.
Hello, my name is Ruslan.
Okay, great. All right. Just a little bit to help, give your name, and it helps to make the nerves if you have them, and so forth. So we're all, it's quite a small group compared to what we've had in previous times, where we've had completely no seats left. So those of you who are giving speeches, maybe sure it might be difficult, and sorry, you said you would be a little bit nervous, and that's normal, but we're all kind of here to help you, and we're not here to criticize or embarrass you. We're just here to listen and enjoy the story. So if you are nervous, please try and feel comfortable, and it will be it won't be as bad as you think you'll find when you're walking home later. So okay, in today's meeting there'll be some other members of the group here which will help me basically help me in running the meeting. And I'd like to introduce them. So we have the evaluation team. There'll be the art counter. So Marianne. Sorry, Marianne. Okay, so probably you won't be agreed. Marianne, it's a first meeting, but basically Marianne will come and give a report at the end, and we'll basically just tell the speakers how many R's and O's and ums or whatever she finds that's not real English words, she'll make a count, yeah? So thank you, Marianne. The grammarian will be at the card. Please hit the card. You can get that short.
Good evening, I'm also a grammarian. So let me introduce the words of the day. I'm sorry we haven't written it down. We should have it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So the word of the day, a very good English adjective which I found out. Okay, I'll write it in capital letters as well. Daunted. Daunted. The meaning of this word is to be really astonished or surprised because so many things, usually bad things, happen to you at once, and you are just daunted. As a grammarian, I have this first part of my role to count how many times you're going to use this word, and at the end, when I give report, I will mention that. And second, my role is, of course, to listen to your speeches and short speeches as well, and identify all your general mistakes. I'm not going to identify all your minor mistakes, so just in general.
Just to help you, maybe daunted is maybe the past tense, I would think. I'm not sure of the past tense of what, because daunted is not a word or anything, but basically you said daunted is like I was a little bit. Yeah, I was a little bit daunted when Bex asked me at 6:45 that to become Toastmaster. Just an example, yes. I was more than daunted. I was absolutely fell over in shock. But that's the past tense. I was daunted. If you want to say it more like, I don't know how you say it, because maybe present perfect or something. I'm not sure. It's daunting. So it will be a very daunting experience for me today to stand up here and be Toastmaster. Daunting. So anyway, just to maybe if you want to use it in your speech, hopefully it's not too difficult. Okay, that's the grammarian. The other of the helpers is the timer. So Nojan, if you can please stand up and give just a quick outline of what you will be doing. Sorry. That's another thing that I just forgot. Toastmasters always shake the hand of the person coming up.
Today I am a timer first time, and I will just count minutes and seconds of your speeches, and that's all. This is my word.
Do you want to say what the colors mean? You know what the colors mean?
Yes. I have three colors here, so I will show you green color when you when 1 minute passed, right? I will show you yellow card when 1 minute is left, right? And I will show you red when you have no time. Right?
That's approximately.
Almost, yeah.
Almost, yeah. Okay. That's fine. Sorry. Just point it out again. We can do the handshakes, and we should be clapping every time people come up as well. So that's another thing that we must do. Okay, that's the team that will be helping today. So let's get into the prepared speeches. Our first speaker will be giving an icebreaker speech, and I'm not should be giving an introduction to her, but I'm not familiar with this lady. But other than the thing is Judas, is that okay? So Judas is giving her first speech to the club. An icebreaker. Icebreakers are basically just to it's supposed to be an easy speech, just to tell a little bit about yourself, and just make everyone sort of understand who the person is that's joining the club, etc. So, would everyone please join me in welcoming Judas Kaman. Okay, Judas to the podium.
Hello, everyone. When I started to prepare to the topic, the first thing that came to my mind was like, like, who am I? Who am I? Do you remember? I'm Jean Valjean. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so listening. I was born in a small town near Almaty. And I was born in a family of a teacher and a doctor. So my mother is a teacher and my father is a doctor. And I can say that I'm my father's daughter. I love him so much. I don't know, I have so tight connection with him. He's my best friend. I can tell almost everything to him. And what admires me that he's a positive person because I've never seen him unhappy. And I really try to be like him. Well, nothing interesting in my childhood. I graduated, finished 2 schools. One of them ordinary, the second is musical. I play dobra. Well, it's just not play. I used to play because when I became a student, I forgot. Only the sound of dobra came from TV, or I can hear them from the radio. I've graduated from the university named after Prague. My major is international relations, and my first job was as an assistant to the chairman of the board. Forget how to say, chairman of the board in BTA Bank. Yeah. So the most memorable moment I can say is my first trip to USA. It was in 2004. Why it is the most memorable? Because it was my first time. And yeah, I wanted to say, actually, to mention about my mom here. She's a very kind person and she wants to control everything. And when I say everything, means me. So she, when I was preparing to the trip, she packed my clothes. She packed from the warm jacket. It was a 3-month trip to the drugs, from all the seasons, just in case. And finally, we've got 42 kilogram weight back. Yes, and by the way, I was weight 42 kilograms, but I didn't know that it was heavy. Yeah, then I went to Moscow first by train because we couldn't afford like money for air ticket, and my parents bought me a train ticket. So it took about 3.5 days by train. After that, when I came to Moscow, I really realized that the bag was so heavy, as I couldn't, I couldn't move it, and I got out train station with this heavy bag, and there was a huge step to enter to the subway, and I was standing in like little girl and heavy bag, and thank God there was a Superman, I don't know, someone wanted to help me, and I was so happy that he appeared. He helped me, and that was, interesting. After that, we gathered in some hotel, and we were given air tickets to New York. And that was my first time, experiencing airplane, and I was so scary about this. I don't know, I was like, oh my god, no, this time, I don't want to die, I'm not ready to die, but finally, it's okay. Here it's okay. Yeah. What interesting else? There was a lot of interesting things, but I really liked this trip because it helped me to see other people, how they live, their views, and that is one of my hobbies. And the other one of my hobbies is singing. I like singing a song, and if someone tells me, let's go to karaoke anytime, I say yes, let's go. So thank you for your attention, everyone, and good luck.
Great. Jandus, I think when you gave your first introduction back, standing there at the beginning of the meeting, it seemed like that you were a little bit daunted by this experience, like nervous, etc. But I think that was either a joke or what, because it seemed as soon as you stood behind here, it was like you forgot about that and you just told your story, and that was great. So thank you. Our second speaker today has been a few times to the club. He's not a new member, but he's not an old member. He's not a member yet either, and I hope to be able to twist his arm over the next couple of meetings to join that next step, because I think he will be a great answer to her part. Our next speaker is be giving his icebreaker speech as well. The topic will be, the topic subject will be keep yourself from new products. Would everyone please welcome to the stage Ada.
So thank you guys, thank you Greg that this opportunity was given me. So today I'm going to share with my personal experience, tell two stories from my life. So I wouldn't like to use any text. Today I'm going to use only these few words. So I think for most of us it's very common when you buy something, yeah. But after a couple of weeks, maybe couple of months, some companies present their new products and you regret about your purchase. So I think it's a very common. So first of all, I would like to ask from you guys. So how many of you have an iPhone 5? Okay, so raise your hand or clap your hands if you have iPhone 5. But did you have iPhone 4 before? No, yeah? So maybe if this company will present their new product, would you like to buy it or no?
No.
Oh, really?
I'm not addicted.
Okay. Okay, you are not addicted. I was addicted, and 5 years ago I used to use this type of phone. It's very simple. It's a Nokia. Have a main functionality as you can send a message, you can telephone your friends, you can take a selfie or take a photo with your friends. So it was a very popular telephone, but after a couple weeks, the Samsung company, they presented their new project, which is called Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and I was really amazed with this telephone. I was surprised and I love it in this phone. So I collected all of my money. I sell a lot of things, especially this type of phone, to buy a new telephone, smartphone. So after this, after sell my old phone, I bought it. After I really enjoyed with this telephone 3 or 4 months. But after this, this company presented their new telephone, which is called Samsung Galaxy S3. I was really amazed, and I wanted this telephone this time, the same as the first telephone. So I again collected the money, sell previous telephone, and I bought this new phone. So I really surprised, and I found that this phone have a lot of common, have a lot of things the same as the previous. So as an operation system, as a main functionality, but have a little bit difference in the form, in the shape, in the ergonomic, how it's called, I don't know. So I regret about it. So today I think it's to avoid from this type of situation, to don't be addicted. After second my story, I'm going to share with. I would like to give some piece of advice. So second story, it's I think more common for men because I think most of you drove the car, yeah. If you have a not luxury car, usually in the beginning you enjoy with this car. But after some part of time, if you drive the very luxury, more expensive car, you don't want to sit, you don't want to drive the car. So I have my Susanna, but in the beginning I was enjoying to drive my Susanna. Yeah, she's a beautiful car. In the beginning, I really enjoyed to drive my Susanna, but after 3 months, I drove the Lexus, very luxury car, and I found that this car is nice. So after this, yeah, I wouldn't drive the car, especially my Susanna. But I realized that that's a mistake, a big mistake, which is more common for humanity. So to avoid from this type of situation, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. First of all, before they buy something, before they make a purchase, before they buy something, you should first of all ask from yourself, do I really need these things? Is it very important? Is it very, if these things will be really important for you, you can buy it, or if you don't have it. Or second question must be as if you have a limited money, of course, you should ask from yourself, I refused from something to buy these things. Is it really important or not? So third question, it's third point. It's from my personal experience. You need to compare life in this type of situation. Life is always comparing. You need to compare two things. So if you have, for example, this type of phone, which is very old, and you have maybe iPhone 4, but you want to buy a new phone, iPhone 5. So you are addicted from this type of gadget, So I recommend you take this type of phone, which is very old, and use it maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks. After this, your iPhone 4s will be very luxury for you. You will really enjoy it. So that's my advice for you. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that. That's a very interesting speech. I'm not sure if everyone knows you, but we have the club has a web page and a Facebook account among two of our sort of multimedia or advertising mechanisms, I guess. There's actually some guy who quite regularly posts ads to sell his mobile phones on our Facebook page, which I always send back comments saying like, make go away or whatever. I'm just wondering, it's not you, is it? I hope not. Okay, our third and last speaker for this evening is perhaps the oldest member of our club, I'm told. I've been coming for at least 2.5 years, and I'm told this person has been coming for maybe 5 years at various times. So I think, which is a great achievement, and I think we can all learn a lot from this person. Would everyone please, and giving her speech on, what speech is it? Just giving her speech number 2, titled "What My Face Tells You." Would everyone please welcome Milana to the podium?
Good evening, all. Tonight, I have a project to organize your speech, which is called "Organize Your Speech." And my aim is to deliver you something to learn, to teach you something that you might take with you and then use it maybe through your life. So, for the past months, I was really addicted to game Mafia. Maybe you know that game where you sit and you try to read from faces or from position of the body what person lies to you, or maybe he's saying the truth. And I really loved the book of Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes. But when I saw the British version, the latest one with the Cumberbatch, I was just amazed. So I want to show you just a small scene from this for 30 seconds, and then teach you something about physiognomics. So he uses a method of deduction. He cannot read any. Oh, sorry.
You should speak. Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought it was working. Sorry. So in this movie, Sherlock Holmes, as you know from the book, he used method of deduction. It's a combined method of facts and what he can see in the person and physiognomics. And then I will tell you about the physiognomics. Physiognomics, well, while it's starting, I will tell you about physiognomics. It's a science, a very ancient one, and it has two bases. The physis, which means nature, and gnomen, which means judge. So you judge from the nature. And commonly it is your outer adherence from your face mainly. So what you see? That's what he can read. And
Could you
cannot
please
read
make
anything.
it closer?
This is. I just wanted to show you how he could catch effects from the what's. I hope you saw that. So now I will go to my presentation. So what your face tells about you. As I said, I will tell you just some small common facts from features of your face. So you may find something interesting for yourself in this. The common is the shape of our face. There are 4 types of shapes: round, oblong, square, and triangular. Round face people, they are a lot emotional, sensitive, and caring. And if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you may know that this person is ready for a stable relationship and he will prove to be the right choice. The oblong face, the second one, usually these people may have a muscular or athletic physique, but they are practical, methodical, and tend to be a tad more overworked, but they are usually overloaded with narcissism. So they might have a problematic. Triangular face is a person with high intelligence and very creative and have a fiery temperament. The square one, they usually called like a metal-shaped face, and they are intelligent, analytical, they could be a good businessman, and sometimes they are aggressive and dominant. So the next part in physiognomics might be, this one, forehead shape. The straight forehead shape, usually these are people that think a little bit slower than anybody else, but they never go to the point 3 unless they finish with the point 4. They are very progressively thinkers, and if they make a decision, they would never change it. The sloped forehead, usually common for baseball players or basketball players. These are fast thinkers. They can do very quick decisions and not usually very right one. The curved forehead are indicated for creative people. Physiognomy of eyes. The eyebrows play. It is difficult to find out from a girl about eyebrows because they usually thin. But there is a common, like if there's thin brows, they tell you about an undecisive person. The bushy eyebrows usually have persons that are self-confident and they know what they want, and they may make you do their wish come true. And unibrow usually is for possessive people. They might have jealous, but they love to think, and usually they are introverts. About eyes. What do you have about eyes? Those people who have prominent eyes, they conclude as a bright and happy people, and they're usually kind-hearted, friendly, and approachable individual. Small and shifty eyes indicates sometimes it might be a sign of a nervous temperament, but usually it also can tell you that this person is very attentive, and eyes that are close set show that they are good at concentration. Wide set says about tolerant people, and deep set says about opportunistic person. And I'm sorry, I'm run out of time. I'll just this is the last figure is a nose. So the straight nose usually a person who has a symbol of warmth, cordiality, and a deep sense of impact. Upturned nose is usually indicates someone who loves to mix with people around them. The big nose is a sign of violence, and a quailing nose is a good, enterprising individual. I hope I gave you. These physiognomics might be used in our lives. For example, to teach to know what our children have to learn, because we can read from the lines of the face what people, are they creative or are they analytical? Usually it might be also useful for HR people, or just for you to know, will you have good relations with this person or not?
And the generally red nose are the alcoholism.
Thank you, Milana.
It's very easy, Milano. I never knew you could read so much into faces. Do you think I have a triangle face or not? No? Intelligent person? Okay, that's the end of that part of our meeting with the set of speeches. Now we're going to have the evaluations of those 3 speeches, so we'll move straight into that section. Our first evaluator tonight is Dolet. Dolet comes here every couple of meetings and he disappears for a few meetings to his other home in Akhtar or on the Caspian. So would everyone please join me in welcoming Dolet.
I want to start from a point that you made a good speech, very good speech, and it was a good achievement for us and for you. Your eye contact was very good. It's very rare for the newcomers to have a good eye contact while giving an icebreaker speech. Yeah. And we could hear you very clearly and audibly. Your vocabulary was wonderful. We could understand you. Yeah. Your structure was also very good. And we heard a very good introduction to body, but the conclusion was a little bit, confused. Yeah, but because this maybe was to do with the time management. But in general, it was very good, and I would like to suggest you to be, like I said, a bit more preparation and a little bit less nervousness. Yeah, because we could see that your English is very good, it's really good, and your preparation was good. But I mean, in terms of time management, I think it could be a little bit improved. So, and one minor point that you could use a little bit more enthusiasm, because I see that you were very sincere in what you were saying. Yeah, but you was a little bit kind of not too self-confident. So you could be more self-confident and be more enthusiastic, and I think it would make a difference. Yeah. So in general, I wish you good luck in your future projects. Looking forward to your project number 2. Yeah, it's a very good job. Thank you.
Okay, our next evaluator will be evaluating speaker number 2, that's Aida. Ben is actually one of our international members of the club, or actually was one of the foundation members of the club, and we hope that he will renew his membership and become more full-time. Because he's another guy that has a lot to share and is a good asset for the club. So would everyone please welcome Ben Pastaras to the podium.
Right? You're saying. Okay, first of all is that I'm not an excellent evaluator, but I'll share to you what I know about speaking, public speaking. I had the opportunity to be with international public speakers, even professionals, and also a priceless opportunity to be one of their, one in the room wherein they share their experiences about these things. So looking back at that one and I'm comparing it to you, first of all is that you're very enthusiastic, which is one of the key in giving a speech. And then you show the excitement of when you talk. It's very good as well. Good organization. You try to include the audience or the public. You were a bit nervous in the beginning, but you shook it off, as you went on in your speech. It was excellent. But then, I guess it would be better without your notes, because you are talking about something that you experienced very well. Means to say that you should be perfect at that. You shouldn't be thinking. You should be calm. Normally. Now, that is a positive point. I've tried to be in the things that you need to, get better. First of all, you look around like this, you look at people, which I think is not very nice. You should have an eye contact with the people. I think that's better. And then the use of words. Try to use different kinds of words with similar or the same meaning. Like for example, you always use amazed, and you don't even use you didn't pronounce it amazed. You pronounce it amazing, which I think should be better when you pronounce it amazed. Okay, and also surprised. You should try to use a different word with same meaning. And now some part of the timing as well. Try to organize with the timing. You have a good organization, but take note of the timing. What else? Yeah, I think those are the most important things. Okay. Lastly, is that when you give a speech, try to be always like you have a conversation with your friend. In that sense, you don't have this kind of nervousness. Okay. And when you are really kind of nervous, try to look not to the people, but just a little bit above them. But you look around. As I've said a while ago, it's a very good thing. As you went on, you shook it off. That's a very good thing. Okay? Keep that.
Actually, that's thanks, Ben. That last point was one of the first tips that I learned many years ago when someone was giving tips on public speaking. They said everyone's nervous, and if you can't keep the eye contact, if you just look at their foreheads, and people still think that you're looking at them, but that's exactly what Ben said, and that's a really handy tip. So maybe everyone can use that. Okay, our next evaluator will be evaluating Alana's speech, and it will be our.
The judge's judge.
It will be Beg Zod, who is basically one of the officers of our club, and he's probably the most consistent people in our club, and he's always here, so we should do a lot of links out of Beg Zod's book. But please, would Beg Zod please come up Thank you.
Okay, good evening one more time. Before starting, I would like just one more time briefly explain what was her speech about. It was called Organize Your Speech. In this speech, she must have introduction, very interesting, catchy introduction, body, points, and logical conclusion. In icebreaking, there should be the same structure, but it's not so necessary. The main point is to get to know you better. This is icebreaking speech. But in her speech, it's a bit different. So from my experience being evaluator and speaker, I understand one thing. When you talk about real life situations or stories, people accept and listen to you with great interest. And in her case, it was very interesting. Usually when I used to have speech, in other words, they start by asking questions in order to catch the audience. In her case, it was a bit different. She said that I like mafia and so on, and I know that many people know what this mafia is about, and many people, I think, have already played this game. So this was very interesting and catching point in her speech beginning, and that's what I liked it. And what I also liked about her speech is how she used her hands, gestures, how she used her face, facial expressions, and how she used sense of humor when she started explaining. She saw that the projector is working, but actually it didn't work at that time. It was not working at that time. And after that, when she found out, I said, oh, and so on. She didn't get lost. This is very important when you give speech. Anything can happen. You can't predict. So this is what I liked. And voice projection, in my opinion, was well enough for everybody. I guess everybody could hear what she was talking about. And I felt that while giving speech, she was like kind of relaxed. This is also very important, like she was walking at home. This is very important because many people when come to stage, they feel nervous, they stand in one place because they can't understand subconsciously, they just stand in one place and try to give speech. And regarding the speech itself, in my opinion, it was well organized, and she did, I think, nice research because the phrase physiognomics is very interesting. I have never heard about it, and it was something new for me. So it was quite scientific. She used the internet, computer, and projector, which is also very good. Regarding conclusion also I like it because she gave ideas of how can we use this science or this presentation and speech in our life. How can it be useful, especially in terms of our children, which is really important. What I would recommend to you, firstly, everybody knows that when you give speech or when you have meeting, time is very important, and in my opinion, you just miss this part, and I would highly recommend it next time. Just pay attention to time management, and using high-tech or computer projects is very good, but in my opinion, I felt that today it's a little bit distracted you. If somebody helped you, or if you had remote control somehow, it would be much better. And next time, if somebody wants to have such kind of electronic appliances, just keep in mind that you should need assistant or you should have control to have your speech smoothly. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bex. No worries. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll have a couple of minutes before we move into the next section, and in that minutes, if we could, everybody should have two post-it notes on their. That's listening from next door. Two post-it notes on their things. If they can just write on the yellow one who they thought was the best speaker for tonight, and there were three speakers. So there's Ada, who just left, Milana, and Jean Louis, basically. You can just choose the best one, and then some exile will go around and select the next question, and you'll count that later on. Oh, this one. You've already written the yellow. Yeah, absolutely. How many who's missing? 1, 2. Anybody else missing? 4. Yeah, the color is all, yeah. Anybody else missing? the next part of the second part of the meeting, the table topic section. If everybody can please welcome our table topic master for this evening, Yad Dikar, to the podium. But everyone has noticed that we're on camera, so those videos, so good cameras tonight. Thank you, Yad Dikar.
Thank you. Can I have this one?
Absolutely.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and today I'm going to present the biography of the Iron Lady. Have you heard about her? Yeah, almost everybody knows, so let me start. Margaret Hilda Roberts was born on October the 13th, 1925 in Graham, England. She was the daughter of a local businessman, and she was educated at the local grammar school, and which is called Grantham Girls' High School. Her family operated a little grocery store on the first floor, and they were living on the second floor. And if you have been to England, you probably know that the premises there are tiny, kind of tiny. So it means she was living in a really, normally tiny flat with all her family. And that's very interesting that her father taught her about the Conservative Party politics because he was a member of the town's council. While being at school, she presented herself as a very good student, and finally she was accepted to Oxford University, where she studied chemistry at somewhere college. And that's very interesting how time gives us opportunities, presents or introduces us with opportunities, because one of her instructors was Dorothy Hodgkin, who was a Nobel Prize-winning scientist. And so in 1947, Margaret earned a degree in chemistry, and she went on to work as a research chemist in Colchester. Later, she worked as a research chemist in Dartford. And let me stop here about her biography, and I want to ask who? Any volunteers? First. No, I'm going to ask question here. Today it's by rule. So, any volunteers?
You should be.
Okay, that was it, please.
Okay, so what's the question?
Okay. You'll walk slowly, okay? How well are you informed about local and international politics?
How well?
Are you informed?
I mean, I don't know what is well, but I mean, in terms of politics, I do like to follow the politics and study some. I think it could be useful for anyone to be able to know what is going on in this big, wonderful world, and what is happening, to be not catched by surprise by any circumstances. And well, I mean, most of the people, they don't know what is going on, and they are very surprised, and they are not prepared. And I think that knowing the politics, knowing what's going on, is help you to be prepared.
Thank you. And anyone else? Please? Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I put your name. So, how well are you informed about politics and international politics? And if you can remember any recent examples?
Well, first of all, I'm a newcomer to this club. I'm really grateful that you give me this opportunity to speak in front of you. In terms of politics, I'm not really good at politics. I mean, I took a college level class of international politics and I sucked at it. First I got C, but then I turned another paper, I got B in the end. Which might give you some idea how good I am with politics. But I try to follow politics from time to time and listen to what people say, but politics is mostly a game. And when you look at the politics, you look at it like a game, and you have to think of what motivates this person and this person, what motivates this nation and this nation, and you just see how these motivations intertwine. how they go on top of one another, and how they create this mess that we call the world. And nice world, yes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In a general sense, politics are important. Sometimes they're not.
Maybe any recent example?
Any recent examples? Well, one of the biggest examples was Ukraine. The whole Ukraine collapse. And that example showed me that when a country has an interest, it doesn't care about international politics. And sometimes it's just, the politics are not important when people's states are lives.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me continue. 2 years after graduating from college, Margaret Thatcher made her first bid as the Conservative candidate for the Dartford parliamentary seat in the 1950s elections. And from the very start, she actually knew that it's almost impossible and daunting to win the elections. Even though she worked very hard, because at that time, the Labour Party was in privilege, they were having their seats. And anyway, while this competition, what she gained is that she earned great respect from her political party peers for her great speeches. That's why probably I wanted to present her today, because as a political leader, she learned how to make speeches. And defeated, Thatcher remained undaunted, trying again the following year. And once again, she lost, even though she made a lot of efforts. 2 months after that, she married Danny Thatcher, and that's the time she became a Thatcher. And in 1952, she put politics aside for some time while having her twins, and she decided to study law in order to continue her career in politics. After completing her training, Thatcher qualified as a barrister. If you know, that's a special type of lawyer in England who can present your interest in the Supreme Court. So it happened in 1953. And not long after that, in 1959, she won finally the third time in her attempt. She won a seat in House of Commons. So clearly she became a woman on rise, and she was appointed Parliamentary Undersecretary for Pensions and National Insurance in 1961. So my question here is, goes to, hello, back row. I already answered. I'm sorry, your names. Serik?
Yes, sir.
Please.
What kind of question?
Yes, so the question is, try to remember and tell us about your experience, some failures where you made several attempts.
Several, okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you have heard from someone.
Hi to everyone. Well, it's hard to remember from my experience when I made several attempts, but I've heard a lot of story, of course, about other people's story about it. If I'm not mistaken, there was some businessman who made some almost like 100 attempt to offer his product, and finally at the end he succeeded. So it's like a big.
Who was that? Name? Where?
I don't know.
Which
It's about maybe pharmaceuticals, perfumery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to share their experience about trying hard something? Well, then let's proceed. So, when Conservative Party returned to its power in 1970, Thatcher was appointed Secretary of State for Education and Science. And that time she was dubbed Thatcher Milk Snatcher. You know why? Because she tried to abolish the universal free milk at schools. So that's the people who started calling her like that. And that was some frustrating part of her lawyer legal experience, because not just because she had so many bad news in yellow press about her, but also because she personally had some difficulty of conveying her ideas to at that time Prime Minister Edward Heath, who didn't want to listen to any of her ideas. And we know that she was an Iron Lady and she wanted to get all her ideas work. So those were quite difficult times for her. And exactly that time she made such a famous quotation, probably you have heard that. I don't think there will be a woman prime minister in my lifetime. Have you heard that? Yeah. And then what happened after that? Yeah, so we'll come back to it later. So she said it in 1973 during her television appearance, and of course she proved herself really, really wrong. Because after her Conservative Party lost its power in 1974, she became a dominant force in the political party, and she finally, in 1975, beat up Heath, the person who, the previous prime minister who she personally didn't like too much, and she beat him out of this position and became the first woman prime minister. So after that, there were a lot of other things happening. Again, her party won, and again she lost. But the fact that she stayed a prime minister for 3 terms is very interesting. And here I have some other questions to Julda's friend. Asıl, please come to this. So this is not really a question. This is kind of request to make a prediction. You have to make 3 predictions of you, yourself, of your friends, Julius or anyone else, and of the country for this time next year.
What do you mean prediction?
Prediction means what you think would happening this time next year to you,
To myself.
yes, and to your friends and to our country. Okay, so predictions.
For myself, I only hope
Be a
things
prophetess.
will happen. Hopefully next year I should find more time for myself, less time for work, and exactly maybe meet somebody and get married.
Okay.
For Jules, we're not friends for a long time, and I don't really know her plans that much. Hoping that she'll have a steady family life. Maybe she'll change something in her career. And for the country, okay, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
Because I can tell it myself.
but it's just
Something
1
I
year.
know.
Just 1 year. It's not long time.
For 1 year, it's really hard because you can say something about the country for like 5 or 10 years. Because in a year time, nothing really happens. Hopefully, the president will stay the same because we don't want something happening in Ukraine or something like that. So maybe there will be more, programs developed or something to finally somebody takes a look at the agricultural sector.
Yes.
I don't know why it bothers me. There's so many lands that are not used. So just hope for the good, man.
Thank you. So I would have a request for all of you for 1 minute. Please try to write your predictions. Okay, take 1 minute, write your predictions. And if any one of you is courageous enough to come and share with us, you are welcome. Okay? So this is a very little task for all of you. Right now, write 3 predictions, please. Yes, of course. We have to do this. Do you need the pen?
Okay.
So the same one which you said, yeah. Do you need a pen?
Yes.
Do you need a pen, right? Yes, look. Yes,
Do we have to write 3 predictions in total or 3?
in total. No, in total. If anyone is ready to do that, why not? I'm ready. Oh, please, Marianne. Come. Quick. Shake hands. Shake hands. Thank you.
Today, I'll visit some foreign countries this year. Next to my friend Tanya will buy a new better flat. And to our country, we'll continue living in peace and everybody have a job and will be able to support their families. And maybe our salaries will increase.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let me round up a little bit. So, as I told you, Margaret Thatcher State had 3 terms as a prime minister, and a lot of different things happened to her. In April 1982, Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands because they were considered as a British territory, and she had to very promptly send the army, and finally she won the battles. And the time of period is known as Falkland War. And during her second term, she was tried to be assassinated in Brighton in October 1984. There was a bomb set where she should have had her conference, but undaunted and unharmed, Thatcher insisted on having the conference to continue its work, which was, of course, daunting for her enemies, I suppose. So here, I have some more questions for you. So anyone is ready? Lady, please. Yeah. So my question to you is, have you ever had a dream to become famous? And if yes, in which area? If no, why?
Of course, in my childhood, I dreamed to be a famous singer, I don't know. Then I dreamed to be teacher and be the most famous teacher and beloved teacher in school. But now my ambitions are not in this field, so I think every child should have a dream. I think it is an important part of the childhood. So that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to answer this question? Share your dreams with us, ladies. One of you, please.
My name's Amy.
because I thought that if you're famous somewhere, people will listen to you, will follow you, and I want to how to say, I want that my parents proud of me. Yeah, be proud.
Thank you. So the last point about Margaret Thatcher. In November 1990, she finally made a statement on mass media saying that having consulted widely among colleagues, I have concluded that the unity of the party and the prospects of victory in a general election would be better served if I have concluded, if I stood down to enable cabinet colleagues to enter the ballot for the leadership. And on November the 28th, she departed from the 10 Downing Street for the last time. And my last question for anyone else, have you ever visited 10 Downing Street, which is in England, in London? And if no, would you like to visit it? She's really thinking on her feet. Look at her.
No, actually, I've never visited UK, unfortunately. So I'd like to visit it, but I'm not sure what kind of street. Sorry.
10 Downing Street. It's yes, it's very famous public place where the Prime Minister lives and has cabinet and works.
Actually,
Yeah.
2 years ago, I really wanted to go to UK to do my LLM there, so on and so on, but it was not a very successful attempt.
But you would go probably in the future. So the question is, if you go, would you especially go to this place or you would skip it? Not interested.
I'd like to skip. I don't like politics.
Okay. So, anyone else who would like to answer this? Maybe somebody visited it? No? So I have another final question then. Who didn't speak today? Let me see. Sierik spoke and we have Ruslan. Yes, Ruslan, very good. So, well, I have to, yeah, you're welcome today. So, maybe we would try to predict who is going to become a famous, any political leader, not only the president in Kazakhstan. Yeah. And say why, yeah. Say why.
I would glad if our president will choose the leader as in Russia. I think that all of you remember how it was in Russia when President Yeltsin told that he is have to rest and he gave all his power to Putin. And in my opinion, it would be better if this situation will be the same here, because if it won't, then all different persons will have to fight for the last for the power, yes, and that would be not good as it had to be. Thank you.
But if you live here, I hope you enjoyed listening to me. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, great. Another interesting table topic session in our theme of biographies from this season. I'm not sure if you guys have watched the movie which is just produced lately on the Iron Lady, but it's quite interesting. And if you like the topic, you should have a look online and just find another video store. It's very, very nice. Okay, that's the end of the speaking part of the impromptu session. We all should have the Alex post-it note left on the desk. If we can please, the pink one, if we can just write down on that one moving forward, top the 9 speakers was the best speaker, and we'll come and collect them. We'll now move into the evaluation section of the meeting evaluation sections. First of all, I would like to the general report section, evaluation of general reports. If the art counter, please would come to the podium to give his art counter speech. Sorry, her speech, please.
I think that the winning meeting our field report is Judas. Judas and Leida, because they used such words as art, 20 times, and so Judas used the word so only once. Then Aida, he likes such words as ah, oh, and he used them 40 times, and his favorite word is so. He used it 10 times. Then Greg, I think that ahs and ohs are the same word, so he used them 7 times. Then Ilana, her speech was very nice, but she used this word too. So she used 7 times and so 3 times. Then David in his he had his speech twice, so he used only 3 times the word ah. Then Ben, oh, 5 times, and so once. Exhort, oh, 2 times, Idikar 3 times, Alisha 2 times, Siri only once, then Asel 6 times, Aijan once, Aim 4, Kamkash 3 times, and Usman never used such words. So, it is all.
Siri będzie żołnierz był.
Okay, our next report will be given by our grammarian. Yeah, the curve will come to the podium again. Thank you.
So, about using our word of the day, which was daunting or daunted. Greg is the winner. He used it around 4 times. Probably will have to watch the video again. And he used it around 5 times while explaining it. Somebody else used it, right? But I'm sorry, I didn't follow that. But what I want to say is that if you watch the video on the YouTube, you will see that there were a lot of opportunities today exactly in all your speeches to use it, but almost nobody did. Now let's follow up with your some grammar mistakes. I've noted down some general areas as we usually do, and with some of them I would share with examples. I would support with examples. So, Jules, your main areas to improve are articles, tenses, and some stylistic use of words. For example, you said so tight connection instead of such tight connection because you can't use so with nouns. We use such a nice day, but it is so beautiful. What admires me, what I wanted to say here, maybe yes, what missing, I don't remember. We say musical instrument, but music school, not musical school. And you a couple of times used the wrong tense. For example, instead of comes from, you said came from. And once I didn't understand the connection. You said that your mother is such a kind of person, but she loves to control you. So where is the connection between being kind and controlling people? Aydar, well, he had a number of mistakes, but the most problematic area is pronunciation. The same problems Big Zod and some other speakers have, especially the mispronouncing of ed ending for the past tense. It's like purchased, yes, not purchased, but that was mentioned earlier. As for Milana, probably some still underneath nervousness beats up your grammar because there was some really silly mistakes. I'm sorry to tell you about that, but for example, do decisions instead of make decisions. You said it combined method instead of it is a combined method. I am run out of something. You don't need M here. And some words were still very wrongly pronounced, such as sin instead of sen, and undecisive instead of something. Undecisive, right? Decisive, undecisive, yeah. As for the lit, you corrected yourself with was and were when you used you was, then you said you were, and then after that again you said you was. So that was okay, but you can hear that from yourself. And conclusion was confused. So conclusion must be confusing or not confused. Yes, because a person is confused, but something is confusing. So this ending. Then the only thing I really didn't understand, you said conclude the audience.
Include.
Oh, sorry.
Include
But you wanted
audience.
to say something like attract the attention or entertain the audience. But how can you include the audience anyway?
He included the audience.
Okay. Okay. And for table topic speakers, I'm sorry I haven't taken any notes because I was listening here to you. But if you want, we can watch the video again and do it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we have the last of the general reports will be the timer. We'll go around, please welcome down to the podium.
I think I'm not accurate in this work, so I have these numbers. First, Greg, right? More than 6 minutes. I will not say the exact seconds. I think it's not so important.
It is very good.
Okay. Mariam, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Yadika, no. Mariam, no time. Yadika, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Nurjan, 45 seconds. Judas, first speaker, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Aydar, 6 minutes, yes, and 24 seconds. Milana, 8 minutes and 50 seconds. Daulet, first evaluator, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Ben, exactly 3 minutes. I think this is the best. Exhaust 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 31. And Yadikar, first 3 times Yadikar have 2 minutes and 20 seconds, around 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 3 times, and the first time 1 minute and 10 seconds, so this is the half, right, of 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and at this time, again the half of 1 minute and 10 seconds, she had at this time 35 seconds, okay, and table topic speakers, right, Daulet, 46 seconds, Alishar 1 minute and 51 seconds, Serik 49 seconds, Asel 1 minute 43 seconds, Maria 26 seconds, Ajan 36, I am 48, Ralgash 50, Ruslan 1 minute 5 seconds, and Mariam our counter 2 minutes 8 seconds. Yadika 4 minute 26 seconds, and me around 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, we're almost at that stage of the meeting where we're finished. And we're going to be on time again. I'm not sure that we are. That's an important part of the meeting. Just a quick moment of reflection. I think I've said many times when I had the opportunity, maybe in this role, maybe at this time as well, to say that we are, I enjoyed the meeting today. I always enjoy the meetings. And it's not necessarily about because the meeting was great and it was entertaining, or because it was funny, or it was just informative. It can be all those things, but that's just not really important. It's the fact that everybody comes here, they want to be here, and it's about people having the courage to come up and speak. There's no such thing as a perfect meeting, and we're far from perfect as a club. There's lots of things that we do wrong in terms of organisation. There's lots of it. So, when none of us are fantastic speakers, we've got some good speakers, but there's always room for improvement. So it's just about attending. It's about contributing. It's about getting up here and having a go, just trying, and then basically, if we all do that, if we all commit to doing that, then we're just naturally going to progress as a club and progress as individuals. So I think, like I said, I think it was we're still at the bottom end of the sort of in terms of development of a club, and I think that it may take years, but in terms of personal development, in terms of club development, but I think we're sort of gradually moving up the level. So I just ask all of you to please keep coming, and to please keep trying, and just not to get over the frustrations, get over your nervousness, and just try, and things will become more natural. So I commend you all again for coming to the meeting today. The winner of the Table Topics talks actually wasn't just a winner, was a complete, much more than half the people voted for Alice Sherrill. Second wasn't even close. It was like everyone loved to speak, so that's well done. Hope that gives you encouragement to keep coming back to the club and to participate more. That's almost it. I think we wanted to have a couple of. Do we want to say about the
best speaker? Best
speech.
speaker.
Oh, the best speaker didn't give that one, huh? Yeah, that was who was speaking? Was it Council? Sorry. Best prepared speech was between. It was a tie between. Sorry. Judas and Milana had equal amount of votes, so congratulations. Was there something else? No? No, we didn't do that one. You voted for that because I don't think anybody else did. Okay.
About the next meeting?
Yeah, the next meeting will be in a fortnight, and we might have some roles. If anyone wants to say in advance if they would like to take any of the roles, you're more than welcome. Based on that, you can say which roles we have, or we need speakers. We need the okay, so anybody want to put their name down in advance?
Do you do Toastmasters?
I don't have.
No, Toastmaster. Will you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't saw them. Toastmasters is not.
Okay.
Are you preparing the projects?
Anyone for speakers? Anyone for evaluators? No one?
Any volunteer speaker project? Fourth.
Wow.
Anybody else speak?
Do we have a table topic speaker?
Table topic
Do
available?
we have?
Absolutely.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll try.
Anyone for premiers, arcanas, climbers? No? Okay, waiting for them later. Okay, that way. Good job. All right, thanks. Yeah, sure. I think there was one public announcement as well. I think some of the guys wanted to have a picnic or something in the park.
Picnic, yes.
Not in the park.
In the mountains, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I think that we'll make some announcement maybe on the web, on email over the next week. But just for information, there's and we'll try to be a picnic in the mountains, not this weekend, but the next weekend. So please just look out for that, and if you're interested, please come and join us. And
Next week,
dazzling and some vodka and
No.
what? Isn't that what you guys do?
Wait, sure.
When is the next meeting?
You'll be in 2 weeks from today. It's every 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
But the picnic is different.
Yeah, we've got another speaker. Great leader. Your name? And who's that? Fantastic.
That's it.
Okay. I would like to call this meeting closed.